We're live. Hey, hello. My name is Sandra, and welcome to my channel From Lack to Legacy. On this channel, we're all things money, investing, and mindset. In particular, how to go from a scarcity mindset to a mindset of abundance. If this is your first time here, then welcome, welcome, welcome. You know what to do when you come in the house. You hit the like button, subscribe, share the channel, because we want to share this information particularly with Black women, but you share with anybody who you think would benefit from understanding how money works and how to make your money work for you. If you're returning, if you've been here with us before, you already know the drill. You know how we get down. It's going to be a carefree evening of information shared by three money mavens, baby, and I don't want you to miss out. So let me see who's in the chat. Hey, Tanya. Hey, Dixie. Hey, Prez, the investor. That's what I'm talking about. I'm glad everybody is in. Come on, I'm going to give everybody a couple minutes to get in. I don't see Marilyn in the chat yet, but as soon as Marilyn gets here, y'all already know, be on your P's and Q's and your best behavior. If you have a question, put three Q's in front of your question. Hey, V in Vegas. Put three Q's in front of your question, and that will indicate to me and the ladies that you have a question that you want us to address. So yes, it looks like we have a couple folks still coming in. Y'all come on in, get settled, get your little cocktail, get you a snack. Hey, Maya. It's so good to see you. Hey, everybody. So, without further ado, let me go ahead and introduce this hot, hot, hot panel. Hey, Brenda. Let me introduce the ladies to you. Some of you all are already familiar with Lisa J. Stocks. She's been on before. We've done some things together before. And Lisa does all things investing. So if you're a new investor, you are in the right place. If you've got questions about how to invest in the stock market, ETFs, index funds, any of that stuff, I want you to direct your questions in the chat and we'll have Lisa address your questions. Second up is Dr. Roche. And Dr. Roche tonight is going to share something with us that we haven't really talked about a lot on this channel. We talk about investing and trading and all things money and money mindset. But tonight, Dr. Roche is going to share with us information about life insurance and the role that life insurance can play in helping us build our generational wealth, build up our portfolio. So I'm really interested because I talked with Dr. Roche a little earlier and I'm like, girl, you are teaching me. You are teaching me because I understand a few things about life insurance. I think we all know whole life, term life, those simple things. But there's some more to it, ladies, and I don't want you all to miss out. So stay tuned. If you've got questions for Dr. Roche, just put three Q's in front of your question and we'll direct those questions. And finally, on the panel tonight, we have our very own C Temp. I affectionately call her C Temp. Her real government name is Kanesia, and she's Kanesia of the Trading Niji. So if you haven't been over to her YouTube channel, I want you all to get over there, check out Kanesia's YouTube channel. You all know she offers classes in beginning options trading and credit spreads, which I hope that you guys have plugged in. I'm telling you, if you're interested in trading and you want a high probability trading strategy, or if you're new to the game, you definitely want to check out my sister. So that rounds out our panel for tonight. But you know, no money question is off limits for us. If you need to send me a question privately, maybe it's a little too sensitive for all the eyeballs to see, you can send it to me at fromlacktalegacy@gmail.com. Hey D, hey L, and there's my sister Marilyn. I'm telling y'all, Marilyn is the moderator extraordinaire. You all are in good hands. So if there's any information that you want Marilyn to share, sis, I dropped everybody's links up higher in the chat. So if you don't mind putting those up, that would be helpful. So without further ado, let's get into it, ladies. First up, we have Lisa J. Stocks. And so y'all, if y'all haven't been over to her channel, please get over there. Please like, subscribe, and share her channel because I promise you it's full of good information. And if you're a new investor, I think you really will find some helpful information over on her channel. Lisa, welcome. I'm so glad to see you here tonight. What's happening with you? The last time we talked with you, Girl, you were sharing your portfolio, your daughter's portfolio. You talked to us about custodial accounts. And I know we touched on Disney. So what's happening? Because I'm watching the market like everybody else. And I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I did a little, I had a little lump in my throat over the last couple of days because, we were riding all-time highs. And then I looked up and I was like, wait a minute, what's this red? I haven't seen red in months. So, Lisa, can you just kind of update us? What's happening?
Should I start with me or should I start with Disney?
Well,
As you,
start wherever
well,
you like,
listen,
whatever makes you feel good. Start where you like.
thank you so much for asking me to join this panel tonight. Hello to everyone watching. Hello to everyone on the panel. I appreciate you including me in this series that you have going on. So I started my YouTube channel about a year and a half ago, and I just wanted to share my journey and just show people that a different, maybe a different face of someone who's out here investing and figuring this out. And as I learn and grow, I just continue to share my journey, the different things that I'm doing to improve my financial future as well as my daughter's. So I am niche down on my channel. You will see nothing except me and talking about investing, credit, anything money related is what I share on my channel. I just want to see people focusing on their investing, which is totally different from your saving and just staying out of debt. But sometimes I touch on those other two topics also. So, if you want me to talk, do you want to finish letting everyone introduce themselves, or do you want me to talk anything about a particular? Bringing up Disney stock, so
We'll do all of our intros and then I'll
all
come
right,
back to
we'll
you.
come back
So
to
get,
different
get
things.
yourself whatever it is you want to hit on.
Yep.
Next up, Dr. Roche, tell us what you've been up to. Let me tell y'all something. Y'all know me. I don't even play games. I just absolutely love Dr. Roche. If y'all have not checked out her stuff, you need to see her on Facebook. Y'all need to see her on Instagram. You want to talk about a woman who brings the heat and the energy. Every time I see you, sister, I get excited. It's like, yeah, I'm doing God's work. I know I'm in the right place. I'm in the right spot because whenever I see you, you are always uplifting women. You are uplifting sisters. You are sharing information. And I'm so thrilled to have you here with us tonight. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell the folks where they can find you and what you've been up to lately.
Well, yes, thank you so much for having me. And yes, hello to the panel. You guys are some amazing women. I'm so excited to even get to, check out your YouTubes as well, to see what you guys are doing. But my name is Dr. Roche Brown. I am also known as the Doctor of Rethinking because I help people to remix their thinking so they can make money, manage money, and multiply their money. So I help people in all those areas. If y'all want to make some money, manage it better. That means keep some of the money that you make, but also learn how to multiply your money. Then I am the person for you. I am a financial psychologist. So I'm actually a licensed clinical psychologist. Been doing the work since 2006. I've actually got my doctorate degree when I was 25 years old. So I've been doing it for a long time, helping people around depression and anxiety. But I also, about 8 years ago, added the component of finances because I recognized that a lot of people don't understand their finances, and it's all about a money mindset when we're trying to change things. So I help people around changing their money mindset. And then one of the aspects of creating, multiplying your money would be generational wealth building. And that's why I also became a life insurance agent and got really passionate about sharing that with our community so our community can make sure that they are protected and they're also growing and leaving a legacy to the next generation. So that is what I do. I am from Oakland. I don't know if y'all know about Too Short, Keisha Cole. That's also Oakland out here, but I don't have to only have good references. I get to be a little more refined. Our Vice President Kamala Harris is also from Oakland as well. So that's me. Hello,
And
everybody.
Dr. Roche, you have something really special coming up. The Job Liberation Summit.
I do.
All
So
my buddies, all my
May
buddies.
18th and May 19th, I'll be in the Job Liberation Summit with Dr. Kamani. So it's going to be a lot of wealth of information of people who are trying to liberate themselves from their jobs. We did a lot of series around how to get your money right if you're trying to leave your job, whether that's for retirement or you're feeling burnt out and feeling stressed. So I help in that area as well, kind of getting the cash flow together so you'll be able to leave.
Yeah. You up to some good stuff. Thank you, sister.
Yeah.
And next up, we have our very own Canisia, affectionately known as C Temp. Sister, how are you tonight? She's calling in from Colombia, y'all. So you want to talk about multinational? We are all over the globe doing this thing,
Yeah.
making money, being free, and living a life that if you're ready to break free, if you're in a toxic job or a toxic situation, there's no need for it. We have all the help you need right here. Canisia, just let us know what you've been up to.
Yes, I'm so excited to be here. I cannot wait to hear more from the other panelists, actually.
Y'all,
So
I got
I
all of you.
am Kinesia. I go by C Temp on YouTube. I'm always in the comments, in the chat somewhere chatting. But I have been an expat since 2017, and I have traveled the world with my daughter. And one of the skills that I have that allows me to do that is trading options. So I trade options. I also do investing, but I mostly just having the mental freedom to do what I want is what I love. So if I can help anyone out there learn how to trade or how to think outside the box, then that is what I'm here for. So you can find me on YouTube. I'm actually new to the YouTube game. It's under the Trading Niji. I do recaps on my trade. I do trading psychology. And yes, this past week has been wonderful. I know the investors are like, oh no, but with options trading, you can make money whether the market's going up, down, or sideways. And that's what I focus on is how to develop that skill and wake up one morning and decide that you need some extra money and how to pull it out the market very quickly in a consistent way.
Mhm.
Thank you. So let's get into it tonight, ladies. Lisa, I did want to come back to you because I saw a comment in the chat. It says inflation is ramping up, plus the threat of war is bringing the market down. Can you kind of just chime in to tell us, give us some insight? What do you see? Because some of us are new investors, are new to the game. And I know that if you're a part of our community on Wednesday, some of the ladies in our community have purchased like their first index funds, their first ETFs, and everything was going well for a month or two, and they might be experiencing maybe a little pullback here, and I don't want anybody to get nervous. Can you give us some insight for those new investors? How do you stay in the game? How do you not let these kinds of world events rock you? Because I could see somebody getting anxious and saying, listen, this isn't working, I'm pulling my money out, and we don't want anybody to do that. Can you just kind of talk to us
Mhm.
and talk to maybe the new investors in the chat?
Well, whether it's, news and political events and geopolitical that is going to impact individual companies as well as the stock market as a whole, we have to be ready for that. That's a part of life. And so I'm not letting that hold me back. We were having a chat earlier with some of my associates, and I was saying to them that we have to look at it as a buying opportunity. Once we have made our decision on the good, sound investments within our portfolio. I can't say that everything is going to be a buying opportunity while the market is down. And of course, war is a terrible thing. All the issues that we're having in the Ukraine and all this, that is a terrible thing. But right now, I'm just talking about money. And with the market pullback, it could be an opportunity for us to make sure that we have cash on hand and that we're ready to take advantage of potential of the whether it's the S&P 500 or our individual stocks that may have struggles impacted by what's going on. I think that I'm just staying consistent overall.
Lisa, how do you identify what might be a good buying opportunity? Because I heard you mention, and I think most seasoned investors know, just because the market is down and prices have lowered on stocks, not everything is a good buy. What are some of the things that you look at or consider when you are thinking, okay, so this could be a potential buying opportunity? What are some of the things that you look at? Not just price, because of course we know that the price of stocks have pulled back a little and dropped some, but what are some of the other things that you consider when you're looking for good stocks to invest in?
Well, you can, in picking the price, you might just, if it's something broad like a total stock market or the S&P 500, you can easily just, pull back and look at the historical data for something like that as a whole over, say, a 5 or a 20-year span. But when you're looking at individual stocks, then you have to have a little bit more knowledge. If we're looking at, say, for example, a Tesla, an Nvidia, an Apple, you have to take the time to get an understanding of like the PE ratio and different things that can be clear indicators to you if something is overvalued, if it's in line with its particular sector, and if there's growth potential. But you have to take all of that into account and know where you're at. That's why I always advocate that if you want to, it's okay to just stick to ETFs and index funds as a good start until you're ready to put in the time and the work to invest into individual stocks. Most likely, you're not going to go wrong with most of the the elite top of the S&P 500, but there are ones just like what I mentioned with Nvidia, which has really skyrocketed during 2024 alone, especially. And it may not be the time. It's pulling back right now in the last week, so it may not be. You have to use your judgment and do the research and finding out when you want to get into certain things. So for me, like right now, just to touch a little bit more, like on Tesla, it pulled back a whole significantly, I think 9% just in the last week. So I'm looking for more of a pullback and potentially a buying opportunity, say between 110, 130. I'm looking to see where it's going to go.
See, I've heard you talk about Tesla before. Y'all know how I feel about Elon Musk. Not only, when I look at a company as a potential investment, I do, like you said, Lisa, of course, you want to do your fundamentals. You want to understand fundamental analysis. If you aren't at the place where you can understand a balance sheet, then like Lisa said, you might want to stick to an ETF, an index fund, something like a broad market S&P 500, a fund that tracks the S&P 500. Maybe you want a total market fund, and it really takes the guesswork out. But when you're talking about individual stocks, it is imperative that you understand how to read a balance sheet, because there are multiple ratios that you want to look at. You don't want to just look at the numbers. You want to look at the CEO. That's why I love Tesla. I used to trade Tesla, but I don't too much fool with Tesla anymore because I just don't care for their CEO. But as an investor, you get to make these choices. This is your money. And I think from Lack to Legacy, especially in our learning community, we want to empower women. We want you to be armed with knowledge, but we also want you to understand that this is your money. And for some of us, it's new. I don't know about you all, but my mama didn't have a broker. My mother did not. There was no money to invest. And so this wasn't language that we used in my house. And so I'm sure I'm not the only one. There are plenty of us for some of us, this is the first time that we're assuming control of our finances. And I want you to be armed with knowledge. So Lisa's channel is full of information to you guys. If you're here with us on Wednesday nights, that's great. But I want you to be, seekers of knowledge. Check her out, because Lisa posts, really great stuff. You can get more information, but you definitely want to know how, if you're talking about individual stocks, you definitely want to know how to read a balance sheet. And if you aren't there yet, that doesn't leave you out. Maybe you won't do a Tesla or an Apple as an individual stock, hold on to it, but you can you'll find an ETF that has all of those desirable companies wrapped up in there. So you won't put all your eggs in one basket and go buy all of Tesla or all of Apple, but you can get you an ETF, a good ETF. That's one of the things that we talk about regularly on my channel. That's one of the things we talk about regularly in our class. But Lisa, I know last time you were with us, you shared your portfolio, which I find you to be very brave, ma'am, because I don't share my numbers out like that. I just, the world's a crazy place. And so, but you were very open about how your portfolio was doing. And I know some of the people that are in the chat tonight are the same people that will that were with us before. How's your portfolio doing, sister? How you doing? How you doing over there? I know we talked about, that's why I was asking you about Disney, because I know we talked about Disney and you were waiting on some news to see, and I've been watching Disney too. I don't own Disney, just for transparency. But so what's
Mhm.
happening, Lisa, with your portfolio in Disney? Where you stand in terms of, are you going to hold? What are you doing?
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna hold. There's nothing that I am cutting out of my portfolio right now. My Disney is still in the red, but I am gonna hold. And let me just also point this out. Like with Tesla is very volatile. And I know that. That's why it's 6% of my portfolio. It is also in my daughter's portfolio, 5%. But you know, there are I know I did a video a few months back. I know, Sandra, you like this particular one, and it was like my top Weeble. I haven't done that one for a while, but looking at what's holding me up that makes me not be concerned about those smaller allocations in my portfolio that are red. My Amazon is up 40.95%. For example, my Google is up 27.0%. So I have a balance. I have higher allocations into ETFs. I have VOO in this portfolio also. So those are significantly up. I've been investing into those steadily. And then when we get down to the Disney and the Target and what else? Charge Point,
Lisa,
for
you have
example.
Target. You have Target too. I don't mean to jump in, sis.
Mhm.
You holding Target?
I'm holding Target, no longer in the red. I'm up 12% on my Target
Okay.
finally, but I had a pretty long stretch there that my Target was down. But
Yeah.
it wasn't like, because it's not a significant, I wouldn't want to cut it out of my portfolio completely while it was down and take a loss on it anyways. But it's about 5% of my portfolio also. So I was willing to hold on to it because overall, when I looked at my total portfolio, I could barely see some of those things that were in the red because the Apple, the Amazon, the VOO, those type of things were holding me up so solid that it's okay that I decided to dabble small percentages, 5% or less, 6% or less, into some of those things that you still remember me talking about, like the Disney. So
Yeah. I appreciate what I heard you say, that you have a balance between ETFs and individual stocks, which I
mhm,
think is certainly wise. If there's something that you just have your heart set on, like I love NVIDIA. Everybody knows I love NVIDIA. I love any AI. I know AI is hot right now, y'all, but AI is hot, and it's hot for a reason, because that's
mhm,
going to be the wave of the future. So I can't advise anybody. And let me say this before we go one step further. I am not a financial advisor. I do not give financial advice. I don't know anybody on this panel that is, and maybe Dr. Roche, that is willing to say, listen, all of this is for entertainment purposes. Please
Yeah.
consult a professional financial advisor. We are here to share knowledge, to get the conversation started with you. And y'all heard Lisa mention VOO a couple of times, and I don't want to talk above anybody's head. I don't want to just toss things out. I want this to be worthwhile information that you can follow. And if you have a question, if you hear something that you don't understand, please, the teacher in me, please ask questions. I feel like, what is the point if you all don't ask us some questions? So put the questions in the chat. Yeah, Chanel says she's a runner, she's a track star. Y'all know that's how I feel about NVIDIA. NVIDIA, she's a runner, she's a track star, baby. She runs up and down. So I think NVIDIA is a good stock for traders and investors if you're talking about a long hold. But Lisa mentioned VOO a couple of times, and VOO is an ETF, in case you don't know, that tracks the S&P 500. And when we say that it tracks the S&P 500, it seeks to mirror the return of the S&P 500. And so I think most of us on the panel would agree that for new investors, ETFs that track indexes like the S&P 500, the Russell 2000, the Dow Jones Industrial, these are safe. Well, let me be careful, because there's no safe bet in the stock market. It's all volatile, but these
it
are
will
tried
recover.
and true. Yeah. We're not talking about penny stocks. We're not talking about biotech and things that might be a bit riskier. We're talking about solid investments that you can research on your own, to make sure that you're getting into a good fund. So Lisa, thank you. Yeah. Y'all, I'm telling y'all, get over to her channel, please, just so you can watch her portfolio. Lisa posts, I don't know anybody on the internet who is as transparent as Lisa is in terms of her returns, what she is invested in. And I admire that in you, sis. I don't know. I don't want nobody looking at my skirt like that. I got an
Well,
ex-husband. I got all
I've
kinds of.
I've I've never done a full like net worth share on my channel. So I share individual things, but I've never, other people are a lot more transparent with their house value and their earnings and everything.
Yeah, thanks, Lisa. But y'all check her out, Lisa J Stocks. Um, you got a podcast too, don't you, Lisa?
Well, I do have some podcast episodes. I've been going live every Sunday. I see my co-host is in the chat, Prez the Investor. So I've
Yeah.
been trying to expand my channel with, lives, some podcasts. I do have special guests on sometimes. You've been one of my guests in the past.
Yeah, we've done some good work together, and we have something else coming up too. So you all stay tuned because Lisa and I are going to circle the block, do another YouTube live, I think, together. I'm not sure if we're going to do the podcast, but stay tuned. We'll get that information to you. So just to kind of piggyback off of what Lisa was saying, she is an active investor. But investing isn't the only way to build wealth. And tonight, I really do want to just kind of give our audience a broad exposure because we know investing. We know most of us understand the stock market, but there are other ways to make money too. And I'm really excited for Canisia to talk to you all because when she did her intro, I don't know if it was before we came on air, but she was saying you can make money if the stock market as a trader, if the market is going up, down, or sideways. Stop playing games. I mean, really, because most investors, we have to ride out as a long-term investor. You have to weather the storm, the up and the down. And when you're investing in long hold stocks and ETFs, we really only make money when the market is going up. And we know that the market isn't linear. It doesn't just go, up. It pulls back and then it goes up. And so that's why being in the market long term is the most beneficial. You don't want to be jumping in and out of your long hold stocks. But if you are interested in making money daily, and this is our approach. I like a two-prong approach. And Dr. Roche is going to show us a third prong tonight because I'm telling you, this is something I have not, I can say, I tell my own story. I maybe have neglected this area because there's some things I heard you talking about, Dr. Roche, that I'm not even aware of. But Canisia is going to talk to us a little bit about trading. And we know I just did a YouTube live with Tasha Journeys where we talked about the difference between investing and trading. And investing is that long, usually it's your long term, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 5 years, even 10 years. If you've got a great stock or a great equity that you want to hold on to it. But trading is a different beast. We're talking about how you can generate income in the stock market, whether it's going up, down, or sideways. And we like to take our wins or our gains from our trades and put those over into long holes. So I'm gonna let Canisia talk to you all because she's got two great classes, I promise you, and I'm gonna get those up. Marilyn, can we put C Temp's classes up? Because she's got two classes actually, one for beginning options traders and one for a particular strategy, credit spreads. That's a high probability trading strategy. And so I'll let Canisia, because y'all know I can't do it no justice, but I'll let her do all the talking. Just tell us what's happening. I know I just finished up a class, and let me just say this, I'm a hush. When I tell you all she is a gifted teacher, I am not just saying this. I could sit back and be like, okay, see Tim, take it from here. I am telling you, I have an old brain that is, it's a divergent brain. And she is so kind and so patient and so just so together from the visuals to all of it works together. And she has clarified so many things for me. So if you are interested in trading options, y'all get with my sister. Girl, go ahead on. I'm done.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure, honestly. Like, I remember watching you in Mexico trading options, and it was just a blast. And I offer two classes. I have finally the beginner's course. So I have a beginner's options course, and that course is going to teach you basically how to do your technical analysis. So I know maybe if you're a beginner, you may watch some of the other YouTubers like Chris Sane or the other guy that trades. And for me, it's like he says levels like 165. I'm waiting for it to get to 200. What I teach in this course is how to read the chart, because we're not just taking people's advice out here anymore. We are learning how to do either fundamental analysis, or in my course, the technical analysis that helps you learn levels, how to read a chart, how to use the Thinkorswim platform, which is what I used, which is Charles Schwab or TD Ameritrade right now until they completely merge. And we go over how to enter a trade, how to exit a trade, the terminology. I know that that can be confusing as well, but that is an absolute beginner's course. So this is kind of bridging the gap between being an investor with Sandra and Lisa, and then transitioning into trading options. Now, this does work for most other markets like Forex or futures. It's the same type of foundation. So if you are interested in those other ones, the options trading course for beginners is ideal.
Sis, I
Now,
like what you
mhm,
said. I'm telling you, because if you can read a stock chart, if you can read candlesticks, if you can use indicators, if you can use studies, you can trade anything. You can trade Forex, crypto. The
mhm,
fundamental thing is that fundamental skill is that you have to be able to read a stock chart, because all of them are going to be charted. And so once you become a chart master, I like to think you can trade anything, child. You can trade horses, you can trade buggies, you can make money. If they trade it on the stock market, if they trade it anywhere, if you can read that chart, you're in business. And when I tell you,
mhm.
Kinesia is the one, I have been looking at charts for a whole year and a half. I sat with Kinesia for 3 weeks and I was like, Lord, girl, I never even looked at a chart that way. You changed my whole life with candlesticks. I'm not even, you were there. I'm not even, y'all, I'm not one to just say anything. Really, I'm not. I do know how to hush. When I tell you, she said one or two things, and I was like, girl, of all the classes I've paid for, as many charts as I've looked at, nobody ever broke down candlesticks for me like that. Changed my whole life. Changed my whole life. So that's in your beginning options
Mhm.
trading class, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And there is a
Well,
live session. There's a Discord. I can't stop talking about trading. If you were to call me at 2 o'clock in the morning and wanted to talk about a trade for the next day, I would be up for it. So I have a Discord, I have a YouTube, and those are completely free. If you want to get in there and talk about money, my favorite subject, please join us. I put the link in the chat.
yeah, we've got the link up for your beginning class, but if they go to that, they can also get your advanced class from there, right?
Yeah, so the spicy. If you like the idea of options credit spreads, then you will want to join the advanced class. So maybe you do have the foundation, you know how to read a chart, you know how to use Thinkorswim, and you want to create a consistent, low risk trading strategy, then that is for the advanced students. So it's not one of those things where you're expecting to make 100, double your money in a day, but to get a little bit of that drip daily. So maybe 1%, 2%, but it's so consistent that it is like my go-to. That's why I created it first, because that's what I do. But the other courses for beginners, this one is for the more advanced students.
Well, none of this, and I'm so glad you said that, because you said consistency, which is a good thing in trading. You said 1 to 2% growth or profit, and being profitable and high probability. I just want to say this. if this is none of what you're gonna hear tonight is get rich quick. If you got a hot $5,000 and you're trying to flip it into $25,000, this is not the discussion for you. This is not what we do. We talk about sound investing, financial literacy. And so that's why I really wanted Kanesia to talk to you all about credit spreads in particular, because there are all kinds of strategies for trading. You know, when I first started, I was trading naked calls and naked puts. I mean, man, that'll have you sitting on the edge of your seat, biting your nails. You will be rethinking your life while you sit in front of your computer. Anybody know, Dr. Roche? I see you
Yeah.
shaking your head. You will be rethinking your whole life. When I watched this girl trade, I was like, child, I'm glad for the foundation. You know, I got that. That's how I was taught to trade in the class that I took. And it was a great foundation. But when CTIM came up, oh, hey, living my dream. We got another trader in the chat, y'all. Living my dream. That's my buddy. Another master trader. I promise you all, these people, Kanesia, you've been trading for over a decade, right?
Yeah, different strategies. Yeah, different markets.
So you all, we're not talking get rich quick. These are professionals in terms of, these are people who have practiced the craft. I would not put before you somebody who, you know, some quack. This is our money. We're talking about money. I am serious about money, wealth building, not, you know, not money, get rich quick. And no, we're not talking about that. We're not talking about flipping this ain't that. I'm sure they're out there, but this ain't that. But if you are looking for sound ways to make your money work for you, these three ladies here tonight, that's what I'm saying. Y'all better get your questions. Y'all awfully quiet in this chat. Man, if I had three professionals or three money mavens in front of me, I got questions. I'm going to need some answers. Check seriously. The credit spread class. Can you give us just a little bit more insight? Like, who would that class be good for? And what exactly is that strategy? I know it's kind of hard to encapsulate, but just tell us why it's such a profitable and why it's such a consistent strategy.
Let me see if I can wrap that up. It is one of those strategies. Okay, so if you are doing, like you said, the naked calls, and if you're going long, if you're buying a call option or a put option, there are basically three things you need to get right, which is the entry, the timing, and the exit. So with selling credit spreads, instead of getting all three correct, you really only need two of them. So as I don't know how to, I just want to keep it real short, but for the people who want more, like maybe you only want to watch one ticker, if you want a more hands-off, consistent trade, then the options, the credit spreads with options is the way to go, because we take advantage of time decay. So that's another factor. The timing is removed out of that. So as long as the stock does not get to your level, you can make money that way.
I appreciate you for saying keep it brief, because it can seem daunting and overwhelming, all these new terms, but I am telling you, start with her beginning class. She's an excellent teacher. I promise you. And then go on to the advanced classes, 2 classes. One, somebody said, is the credit spread course on the website?
Yeah, it's on the thetradingniji.com. So if you go there, you can sign up for the newsletter and then scroll down to that course, which is a 4-week course. Of course, always I do a live every Tuesday on Discord, and we do the technical analysis, we'll chart, and then if we do see a trade opportunity, we'll get into the trade.
Yeah. Somebody said that's good. It's perfect for when the market is trading sideways.
Yes.
Yeah, and by sideways, we mean that there isn't much going up. The price isn't going up, it's not shooting up, it's not dropping down. It's kind of doing this, what we call consolidating. And it's trading in a range. And you would think, well, investors we don't want to hear that. As an investor, I don't want to hear anything about range trading or the prices staying at the same level for the last 6 months. I don't want to hear that. As an investor, I want to hear about price appreciation. And so that's why I think it is such it's such a well-rounded kind of approach to investing, to not only be an investor but to also, if you have it in you, to work in trading. But I will say this too, because I don't like to sell anybody a dream. Y'all, I'm a woman of a particular age. Everybody knows I'm retired. I don't even know if I have as many brain cells as I had 10 years ago. But if you have enough cognitive ability to understand simple kind of math concepts, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to invest or trade. You don't have to use calculated, all these formulas. I promise you, there are people here right here tonight that can help you break down these concepts so that you can get yourself into the game. Because let me tell you something, the stock market ain't going nowhere. I don't care what they say. It's going to go up, it's going to go down. But over time, historically, the stock market goes up. And we want to capitalize on that. There's no reason for us not being in the market. Not now. I can, before our parents didn't have access to the information, before our parents may not have felt like they had enough capital to get into the game. We now know all of that stuff. We've removed those barriers. The internet is the great equalizer. They should have never let y'all read. They should have never let me, they should have certainly never let me see it, because I'm trying to shout it from the rooftops and tell anybody, here are resources that can help you build wealth. Even if you don't feel like you have enough time to do it in your lifetime, do it for your children, do it for your grandchildren, pass the information on. I'm just trying to watch the chat because I know I saw a question. Here we go. It says, do you need a large amount of money to start doing options? See, Tim, do
I
they need a lot
think,
of money to jump in the game?
I mean, it's relative what a lot of money is, but I can say this. To get started doing options, you want to get the education first. And the education is the most important thing. The paper trading is available so that you're able to not use your money. Don't throw your money into that. Use their accounts that give you simulated trading. So I would say that to get started, you don't need a lot of money. To open a margin account, you need $2,000. To open a cash account, I would say it depends, like 100, 200. But the most important thing is that you practice trading first, you get the education, and then you are using money that you don't need to pay the rent. So I would say just to start with those three things before you throw in your real money, is to make sure that it's money that you can learn with and you can practice with the free simulated trading accounts that they offer.
I'm definitely down with the paper trading. I don't think anybody, this is just my humble opinion, nobody asked me, but I don't think anybody, I think even once I took the class, y'all, don't be foolish with your money. Paper trade. I think if until you can consistently find a strategy that works for you, find a strategy in a paper simulator that you can repeat, and I'm talking about 75%, 80% accuracy. This thing works. You know what the buy signal is. You know when to get out. If you don't have that, I would either seek more education, or I would just be kind of trying to hone that skill, because that's the beauty of it. And you're right, C Tim, it doesn't take a lot of money. I think we think you got to have 5,000, 10,000. You really don't, because you can open up a brokerage account seriously with no money. There's several. Yvette, and I hope we can get this in the chat too, because Yvette created I think there's a link where you can go. She tells you exactly how to open up 8 or 9 different brokerage accounts with no money at all. And some of them will allow you to have access to their simulators. Now, some of them may require that you put $100 or something in so that you'll have full functionality. But you could definitely practice not just trading, but you can practice investing, buying stocks and selling stocks, ETFs. So I agree with you, sister, wholeheartedly. Education first, then make sure that you have practiced a strategy and you've honed in on something that you know works consistently for you, and then to continue to get educated too. Don't, it's not a wham bam one time we're done. I'm just going to take this question. Chanel says, what would you advise as a good loss for a scared beginner to feel comfortable with but still feel confident or competent? Do you have a personal story to help those who fear failure? I'll let
Yeah.
anybody on the panel could take that, because I think we're all in the market and we've
Mhm.
all experienced a loss. How do you all handle it? Dr. Roche, how do you feel? And I know you're in the market too. Have
Mhm.
you experienced, where, hey, everything ain't green today. Today is a red day. And being a psychologist too, how does that, just jump in on that?
I get upset when I lose money, and I'm not going to pretend like I don't, right? However, right, that's what when you're going into investing, you just have to set a number that you're okay with, or a percentage of of some level it's going to go down, and be okay with it, because it's going to go up too. You just have to hold both areas when it comes down to the market. So I've done all of the trading. I feel like I've done forex. I have, of course, long term. I've done options, but I was most naked puts and naked calls, and that was scary when things were like not going my way. I don't feel like I'm good at puts, so I'm like, Kinesia, I'm about to be in your class. Okay, I'm going back to the game, to like go back to the fundamentals. But yeah, I think you just have to hold both pieces, and so it's really up to you. Everything is still relative on like how much are you willing to lose. That's why I say it's more based on percentage of your portfolio. I think it would be more important than like an actual amount, because I don't know how much you're working with at this point, right? So if I go down 5%, I'm scared a lot of times, so I don't know what everybody else is. They're in the market a lot more frequently than me.
But we've all experienced those losses, and I agree. I usually in my mind, I say, okay, I'm willing to invest this much to make this much. It's all about that balance of risk and reward. It's like,
Mhm.
how much are you willing to risk and what is the reward? And I think as an investor and a trader, that's a good skill. It's at least good to have in your awareness. What are you willing to risk in terms of, how much capital are you willing to put into the system, and what are you expecting to get out? That, I think, if you neglect risk to reward, you're going to be all over the place. Not only do you need your technical analysis and your fundamental analysis, and that's why I said education is important, because risk to reward wasn't something that I was taught in my first class. I had to learn that along the way. I'm like, wait a minute, girl, you mean to tell me you putting up $200 to make 50? This don't make sense. This does not make sense. So you want to master those kinds of things too, risk to reward, and you want to have those set. I know C-Tim talks about that a lot, a trading plan. There's a plan she has, and it's so beautiful. When I tell y'all meticulous, I'm talking about meticulous. This is what, and it appeals to me, because I need to
So
see that. She
excited
has
about
a written trading plan. She already knows what she's willing to risk. She understands what the loss is going to be before she ever pushes the button.
it.
She already knows. And consistently she tracks. So you all, there's some good stuff in her class. I think Dr. Roche hit on it. You're going to experience loss just as an investor, period. I hate it when I hear people say 90% of all, or 95% of all traders lose money. Child, 100% of all investors lose money. I mean, if you depend on the day, but it's not really a loss until you realize it. So if you might have a bad day in the market and things look red today, if you don't sell, that's an unrealized loss. It's not a
Mhm.
loss until you sell. And so that's why I like long-term investing too, because I can stomach some of that up and down for a little bit. But then I have faith, and I know that ultimately I've picked good companies, I've picked good stocks, I've picked good ETFs. They will ultimately go up. So yeah, losses are a part of the game. You just gotta understand that's just the way, that's life. Everything can't go up. The market is no different. It certainly doesn't go up. Oh, I want to put this link up. This is the link to all of the free brokerage accounts. Yvette was so wonderful. She is our resident tech guru, all things technical. When I tell you this learning community, we are so blessed with talent. These are women. On Wednesday nights, we meet every Wednesday from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's all volunteer, all volunteers. Yvette is our resident. She's formerly from the tech world. She pivoted out. She's like, I'm sick of it, deuces. She chucked the deuces. No more toxic work environment for me. And sisters, I'm telling y'all, we can do it. Most of us have pivoted out of those spaces that weren't serving us. And if y'all didn't hear, Dr. Roche is going to be a part of, they're gonna give you the whole rundown of how you can leave a toxic job. So y'all get in the chat and make sure you get that. We'll make sure that you get that information too. But check out Yvette's link, so that you can find all of those free brokerage accounts. She tells you step by step how to open them. Most of them, you don't have to put any money. Many of them have a paper trading or simulated trading component where you can practice. So if you are feeling a little skittish about jumping into the market, have no fear. We have something in place for you. I want to put up one more question. It says, are there any tools an investor trader can use to help combat money trauma? Ways to unpack and embrace an abundance mindset. Dr. Roche, I think that's for you. I don't know about any tools, but I know that Dr. Roche talks a lot about money, your money story, money trauma, the psychology behind, your money story, and how do we pivot and shift from maybe a money story that isn't so healthy into something that's a little healthier. Dr. Roche?
I mean, so always the first part is going to be like awareness. Like, so what is like the money narrative that you are telling yourself around that trauma? Like, what kind of meaning are you making out of it? Because a lot of times we have traumas that didn't even happen to us, right? They could just be vicariously. We've seen them in our family of how people manage money or mismanage money and made some money mistakes. And so now we're holding that story. So we have to get awareness of what that story is. And then also the next step is beginning like a conscious story of what you want it to be. And that's going to take some time of you sitting down and thinking with yourself, like, what would life look like if I was in my abundance? Right. And actually taking out a journal. It could be a cute journal or a little notebook, whatever you want, and actually scripting out, like, what is the story that I want to have in my life? And depending on how long that money story and narrative has been there, it's going to take some time for you to unblock it. And so that means that you're going to have to consciously every single day take some time. I often tell people, take 5 deep breaths. People always tell me they can't find 5 deep breaths in their life. I'd be like, do it in the shower. I don't care where it's at, but after you have that money story, record yourself speaking that to yourself, and have that playing even while you're in the shower and you're taking your deep breaths and you're saying, I'm ready to internalize this new picture of myself. And so it's going to take some time for you to understand it. And then also, as you're going through your process of like developing abundance mindset or any change, understand that relapse is part of the process, right? Relapse is part of the process, right? So that means you're sometimes going to end up falling back into a negative money story, and that's okay. Right. The problem is that what we always, find difficulty and suffering is in the fact that we beat up on ourselves for going back into the story. Versus saying, hey, be compassionate, be kind to yourself, recognizing like, hey, I just had a moment and I can jump back on it. Because the idea of growth is not that you never have a relapse, but that the relapse is not going to happen as frequently anymore. Right. Like that's like, I'm growing because I'm not in the relapse as frequently. And your relapse is not going to last as long. So now you're not going to be in it for like, weeks or months of like having made this mistake. Now you can just say, hey, I just had a moment. Now let me recorrect and recalibrate like how I would like to think, going forward. So you kind of just do those things and it will help in changing your that money trauma.
Yeah, I don't know anybody. Maybe you all grew up, differently with a silver spoon in your mouth. Maybe you don't have money trauma. I know I definitely had, there's a money story. And I grew up in the city, with to a single mom most of the time. And there just never seemed to be enough. And you just we just kind of got used to knowing you just have to make it. but you don't realize how much of that story you bring with you into your adulthood and how it impacts every financial decision you make. So mindset is a big part. I think in the intro we talk about, we're money, investing, and mindset because they go hand in hand. I
Yeah.
don't think you can be a good investor. I don't think you can be a good trader if you don't address your mindset. And I'm gonna tell you just from my own experience, baby, if you are depressed, if you're mad at your man, if things are going on at the job, you don't need to be out here talking about trading. You
For
need to be getting
real.
your mind right first. They just go hand in hand. And so
Mhm.
you want to be a good steward over your money. You want to be a good steward. And I love what you said, Dr. Roche, about being compassionate. We are so compassionate to others. Like
Exactly.
but we don't do it for ourselves.
Mhm.
And so, in the vein of being compassionate and being, changing your money mindset, Dr. Roche, I want you to go ahead and get into this because I've been waiting all night. I've been trying to read up. I'm aware, Dr. Roche and I talked just briefly before, and she said, Sandra, do you mind if I talk about life insurance? I was like, girl, we do not care. If it has anything to do with money and how we can be better investors and how we build wealth, bring it. That's what Money After Dark is all about. It's the things that people don't talk about. You would never call up Schwab and be like, well, I want y'all to talk to me about. You come here for that. You come right here and your sisters will give you the good. So Dr. Roche, enlighten us. Tell us what you're doing around life insurance. And I know it's not just life insurance. There are
Mhm.
tons of different things. So I will let you take it from here.
Yeah, I mean, so like I said, I help people make, manage, and multiply, right? So even when I'm helping people with life insurance, I'm looking for the cash flow. So I'm looking at your numbers, understanding what's coming in, what's going out, what other different decisions can we make first, and then what do we do with the extra money that we have, right? Our discretionary money that we have, like how much should be maybe going into the market, how much should be going into whatever your retirement vehicle is going to be, and of course, and how much should we go into life insurance. And so there's many functions of life insurance, and I think when we hear life insurance, the only thing we think of is death, right? Like, even though it's called life insurance, our brain only goes to the death aspect. And especially in our community, we get really like uncomfortable in having a talk around life insurance because we're thinking like, oh, you trying to have me die? Like, you'd be like, what? No, nobody wants you to die. We want you to live, but we want you to live well. And we want your people that you love to also live well. So when we think about the functions of life insurance, the main function is something called the death benefit, right? That means that you get coverage, and that coverage is going to go to the people that you love and care about afterwards. What I have noticed for a lot of people is that even though they have life insurance, they often don't have enough. So a lot of us are underinsured when it comes down to life insurance. It shows that even within our community, we tend to get smaller policies, while other communities find themselves with $500,000, $1 million policies. We may only have 10,000, 20,000. And so what does that tell us about the mindset around that? It means that we see it as something only for burial. Like, we're looking at life insurance for burial purposes and not for the wealth purposes, right? So we should be having bigger policies because we want to have wealth. Additionally, we want to replace whatever income that would be lost if the breadwinner, one of the say it's a husband and a wife, and that's in a household, and you're living in a 2-income household, right? What are you going to do if one of those incomes go away, right? So when that person passes away, it's not about just burying them. It's going to be about, how do I replace their income that I'm going to lose? And so I often, when I tell people the story, I always be like, and say the husband, dies. I ain't gonna let the women die, okay? But say the husband dies, and now he was bringing in $100,000 inside of the family. How are you going to replace $100,000 and you have a young child? And I'm out in these streets, I'm saying, in these single streets, it's hard to find a 6-figure man. Okay. Like, I mean, the one that you want, it's going to take some time. So you want to make sure that you're okay. So I think that's the number one, is death benefit. Make sure you have enough. But secondly, is something on the more newer policies, maybe newer meaning like over the last 10 years, is something called living benefits. And what living benefits means is that, say, God forbid, you were to get diagnosed with cancer, heart attack, stroke, different critical or chronic illnesses, you would have access to that money early. So they would accelerate the death benefit to you early. So let's say you have a $500,000 policy and something was to happen, they would accelerate $100,000, $200,000 to you right now. Right. So you don't have to worry about, making money while you're trying to heal. You
Could
have
you
money.
say that again? I'm sorry. Could you say that again? Because that's news. That's new. That's new learning. Let me
Yeah.
get my brain around that.
Yeah. So it's called living benefits. It's a rider that like is on the life insurance policy. Okay. And so, like I said, you get a $500,000 policy or whatever, maybe you only have a $200,000 policy, but what they will do is accelerate the death benefit to you early if you were to get a critical, chronic, or even a terminal illness. Okay. And that's huge, right? That's huge.
Yeah.
Even if we look at the idea of cancer, I'm
Mhm.
sure probably everybody on the panel and everybody that's listening has known somebody that has been impacted by that, but we still live because of good medical technology, right? It's not a death sentence to get cancer, but you still live, but you're going to need money now. You don't need money when you die, right? And so they're giving you money like right away. So that is huge and something to take, a benefit of, right? Because even if you did get disability, even if you had good health insurance, you still need more money outside of that, So living benefits is huge thing that people need to have. So it's like, even if you have life insurance, check what you have. Do you have living benefits on it?
And that's a rider that you add to your policy.
Yeah, most of the newer companies have it already on it. More like some of the more common companies, I won't speak on which company, some of them don't have it. So just check to see if you have living benefits on your policy. Right? It's very important. You can call the companies and just make sure you have that. But then also the other benefit of life insurance is the cash value component. And cash value is the savings that rides along your life insurance. Okay. So you have other money that's going in there, not the money that's just going to go to your family, but money that can go to you. Okay. And the way that cash value grows is also what's called tax advantage. Okay. So it operates similar to what a Roth IRA is. So those who understand what Roth IRAs are, you're not getting taxed on your money. You've gotten taxed on your money right now. So when it grows, you don't have to worry about getting taxed again. And so your cash value also does the same thing. So whatever money is inside of your cash value, you can take it out. You're not going to get taxed on that money when you take it out. You're going to be able to, live off of it how you want to. And you can do different things with that money. So like that cash value is just for you. So that money you can take a portion of it out and use it for investment properties. I have investment properties. And so I was able to do that. People talk about become your own bank is a big, talk nowadays on TikTok and Instagram and all that kind of stuff. Right. And so you literally can use that money for whatever you would need that money for. That could be college fund. A lot of us get like 529 plans for our kids. But what if your kid doesn't go to college? What if they don't utilize it for education? Now that money becomes taxable. And so this is another way to build that college fund, for your child. So it's just about having money in different buckets overall. Okay.
That's news. Black Women Build Wealth has a question. She says, is it better to have the rider of living benefit on your life insurance policy versus having a separate critical illness life insurance?
It's better I would say it's still better to have it on the life insurance. It's part of it. It's not an extra cost. So you might as well have it on the life insurance. It's not an extra cost on there. And then most people always ask me like the different types, right? Because, you're talking about term and whole, and what I would tell you, like, what are the pros and cons of each one? So I do all of them. Let me just say that I do all life insurance policies because they all have like pros and cons. So when you're working with a life insurance agent who only talks about one, that's when you want to be a little bit more like leery, like, why only just one that you like only focus on? So I have my preferred, of course, but I do them all. So of course you have the term policy. The positive of a term policy is that it's inexpensive, right? We like that. It's inexpensive. We can get like, a whole lot of coverage for little to no money. Now the negative of it is that it does expire. Now, if you were in some of these ladies' classes and you were really going to put the work in, and I say, and you are really going to put the work in, right? Because it's not the knowing that's going to make the difference. It's the doing, right? So if you're going to
Preach.
get classes and you're really going to put the work in, then a term policy can be great for you, right? Because it's inexpensive and you're going to take whatever extra money and you're going to make sure that you're going to make that money multiply in the market, right? So that's a good thing. So you'll hear people say, buy a term policy and invest the
And
rest.
invest the difference. We've all heard it. We've all heard it. And then where does that money go? To a Gucci belt? You know,
And that's
extra.
my problem with it. See, that's my problem with it. That nobody ever
You have
invests.
to be disciplined. You have to be disciplined to make that work. And I get it when you're young and money is, lean. You might not be able to afford, term insurance is great. And maybe you don't have kids and all those things. But if you're not going to invest the difference.
And then the other thing is that nobody knows what's the difference. What does that even mean? You know what I'm saying? It's something that people say, but nobody even know what does that even mean? What is the difference? Is that $100? Is that $200? Nobody understands what the difference is. So we don't get the concept of it. So we don't do anything, right? Like confused minds, you know what I'm saying? They won't do anything at all, right? So it's something for us to consider, like we don't understand that part, right? And if you don't understand it and you don't intend to do that, then people tend to get a whole life policy, right? Because then you get a whole life. The positive about a whole life is that you are going to have it your whole life, right? Like what it says, it's a permanent policy. And you don't have to worry about it ever expiring. And additionally, it has the cash value, which is that savings component, right? And that savings component can do a lot of great things if you're using it, right? Because you may have a life insurance policy and not even using it at the level that it could be used. So that's something to also think about. Then they came out with what is called more of a variable universal life, and variable meaning that it is in the stock market. The cash value component is in the stock market. And as we've been talking on today, stock market can go up, but it also can go down, right? And there were times that even those policies lapsed because the market went down. So that's the only one that I don't do, but I let people know that they exist, the variable, universal life. And then they have what is called the index universal life policy. And what that means is that it follows the index. And so it follows the different indexes. So like the S&P 500 index. But what happens with the concept is that when the stock market goes up, your money goes up. But it often goes up to a cap. So let's say the market does 20% in return. You may only get 12%. It's going to cap you off. You're not going to get all of the growth of the market. But it's to account for when the market dips, as it's doing now, that your money's going to lock in and you're not going to lose any of your money. Right. So that's what's happening inside of it. So it gives you that protection, for your money because you have downside protection. So that's the important thing. And so that's how the cash value grows in an index universal life insurance policy. So your money can continue to grow. And so for me, just think about my own portfolio and how I think about money is that's where my retirement is set up, is inside of my IULs. Okay. But I also borrow money, and that's why I was able to, purchase investment properties, utilizing it. It will also be like college fund for my kid. So I can take money out and do different things with that money that's in there as well. And I don't have to worry about getting taxed on it when I'm taking it out. But I also have long-term stocks as well that are going to be there for me, but I just don't have an idea of how much that's going to be. Who knows what the concept of if market can do excellent, it also can do non-excellent, right? So, and even for me, when it comes down to the market, and this is why I can't wait to get into Lisa J and Canisia's classes and stuff, it's more about how long do I want to be focused on learning all this stuff, and how diligent am I going to be in paying attention to the market? Because there's been times I used to I'm in California, so I got to wake up at 6 a.m. to rock with the market. Okay. And I'll be like, I don't want to,
Tell the truth. Because sister, I'm a day ahead of y'all, and trust me, they're up trading and it's 10 o'clock at night. And I'm like, baby, I'm not even sharp enough to be in the market trading with y'all tonight. I don't think people realize that is something you have to commit yourself to. Yeah. I just happen to love it. Most of us on the panel, we just happen to love, we love investing. And so it doesn't matter day or night. But for me, I it is a consideration because at 10 o'clock at night, I can't even tell y'all how many times I went to sleep on a trade. I'm
Yeah.
embarrassed.
Yes.
And so
I was doing
it is
forex trading at one point, and then and the market was opening at midnight out here. So I'm like, I'm on there, and when I'm doing well, it's great. When I'm not doing well, I stay up. Like, hold on. I go to sleep for 5 minutes, look back at it again. Like, is it going my way? It's too much anxiety like that goes into it.
It's so beautiful to have options, and I don't just mean options. It's so beautiful to have to
Yeah.
know that there are all these things that are available to us, and we don't know unless we share this knowledge and this information. Because I'd heard of most of the policies that you mentioned, but I didn't understand the difference and the intricacies. Do
Yeah.
you have? I mean, so do you do a class? So people can just reach out to you because you actually offer these products
Yeah.
as a
So yeah,
service.
I offer the products. You can jump on a calendar with me, work with drroche.com. And I would actually go over. So if you have life insurance, I can look at your life insurance and help you understand it better. I'm naturally like a teacher, and so I'm a different kind of like life insurance agent, I will say, because I want people to understand. Like, understanding is more like the key
Yep.
for me. So my brain is like, I want you to know why these numbers do what they do. So I will like help you understand with your policy, if that's what you need, and tell you how to overfund it, right? So even though your policy is only $200 a month, what if you were putting $600 in, what that would look like, right? You can actually add more money into your policies, and you want to know that. And so you can use them in a more beneficial way, especially to be able to borrow against them and do different things. So I help with that, but I also like help with just understanding your cash flow and give you like even money management suggestions as well, as we're looking through your numbers.
I think we all kind of have that in common, the entire panel. I think everybody on here is really a teacher because
Yes.
it's not, none of us have garnered this information. I hate a gatekeeper. I'm sorry. I really do. I think it's the bane. I
Mhm.
just think that's been a part of our undoing. If I know something, sis, I promise y'all, when I first figured out that you can make money when the market was going down, girl, you would have thought my hair was on fire. I was running telling everybody. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yes.
Whoa, 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 whoa. They didn't tell us about this. And I think some of that is intentional. You know what I'm saying? In not sharing all of this wealth building information. You all, I was a teacher for almost 30 years. This is stuff that we should be teaching in school. Y'all, personally, you could take some of that other foolishness out. You could take it out. You could put in, well, okay, none of it's optional. Okay, kids do need to go to gym. I was about to say, look, you can play outside at recess. You need to get your tail in here and learn how money works. Money
Yes.
works. You can do all that later. You could buy a gym membership. But today you need to understand how come you shouldn't be putting all your money over here and wham whams and zim zams. You
Mhm.
need to understand what mainstream culture has passed on to their children from generation to generation. And part of that is life insurance, health, and all of it is information that I think was in some part intentionally kept. I'm not, I believe
And even
that.
if we
I
talk
do.
about trauma, That's another thing, because we didn't understand what type of life insurance. So a lot of people have a lot of feelings around life insurance because they saw grandma and them like paying for it. Like the life insurance agent came to the house, because that's what happened in my house. Like they came
Yep.
there and they pick up the actual like payments and all of that. And then sometimes her policy would run out because maybe she had a term, but nobody understood that. So then
Yep.
you feel like, oh, life insurance is a scam. Like she was paying all that time and nothing happened. It ran out. You know what I mean? So those things make people feel more, more fearful about actually purchasing life insurance policies because they're afraid of what's going to happen.
Goes all the way back to that mindset stuff. It
Mhm.
goes back to you just have to not be knowledgeable. And that's a part of, why we do this series once a month, Money After Dark, where we talk about things you probably wouldn't talk about with your financial advisor, because these are conversations that have to be had. And I know for a fact, nobody in my family talked about life insurance. We had the same thing. And I don't know about y'all, but my insurance man that came to the house, he wasn't even black. So that was a double wound. It was like, who is this white dude that dips into the hood,
Uh-huh.
once a month to pick
Yeah.
up this money? And
Yeah.
none of it was, it wasn't positive. It didn't leave me with a positive feeling. And so, if you are experiencing any of that kind of money trauma, or if you want to learn more about how life insurance can be a part of your financial wealth building, please, please, please seek out Dr. Roche. I'm telling you, everyone on this panel, and I'm not going to keep y'all because I know y'all have lives. I think I'm the only one. Well, I don't know. C Temp is partially retired. Dr. Roche, are you still formally working, or do you work for yourself?
So I do. I work at Kaiser as a psychologist for 2.5 days a week. So I don't work, a lot. But I do work just to remind myself that I'm a psychologist, because I do something different in my business. And I was like, I went to school for a long time to get this doctorate degree. I should at least use it. And honestly, just not to toot my own horn, but I'm like a phenomenal psychologist. At the same time, I don't want to like work with people's trauma and sit in it for a long time. So I
Mhm.
really do intake appointments when I go there. So I call it making impacts in a moment. I'm gonna work with you for an hour. I may not ever see you again, but I'm gonna
Mhm.
give you the best hour of me that I got, like in that moment.
Uh-huh. But
So
how
that's
beautiful is it that because of the way you've structured your life and because you understand how money works, most of us have been able to craft our day the way we want. If I don't want to get up at 10, y'all, I don't get up out of my bed. If I
mm,
don't want to go, if I think today I'm tired of Japan and I think I want to go to China, it's
mhm,
because I made enough. And y'all know my story. Really, my story is a cautionary tale because I made it out, and I'd make no bones about it. And it's probably why I'm so passionate about it now, is because I really do understand that I was able to put in place just enough things. Had I made one little wrong turn, y'all, seriously, my
mhm,
story could be totally different. I
yeah,
did not retire with, millions and millions and millions. I retired with enough in like 35 cents. I had 35 cents. I said, oh shoot, girl, you got 35 cents? We gonna get out here. We gonna make this 35-cent work because I'm secure and that I don't have to worry about how I'm gonna feed myself and I don't have to worry about those things. But I want my children to do even better. You know what I'm saying? So it's
mhm,
not even so much about me. I'm okay, but I want them to see these positive images right here, just what you see on this panel. I want them to see that it's not for others. This is for you. This is for you.
mhm,
This is for you, sister. This is for you, brother. This is for your kids, your grandkids. They need to know and understand how to invest. They need to understand that they can generate income from trading. They need to understand that you should have insurance in place and get the right thing that is going to help propel you
yeah,
forward. So I'm going to, because we're going into like our hour and a half mode, I'm going to be respectful of you all's time. And I would just want to give you an opportunity if there's anything that you all, if I missed a comment, if anybody has something you want to drop in before we get ready to circle back and wrap this thing up. um, please drop it in the chat and I'll do my best to get the question out for the ladies. But Lisa, I want to come back to everybody. If there's anything that you want to leave us with, for sure, make sure that we get your contact information, how you want folks to reach out to you. If you'll start us off and then we can kind of wrap up tonight and I can make sure y'all get to bed. Dr. Roche, I'm not worried about you because you're on the West Coast. You and I are cool. It's daytime for us.
I
But the
know.
rest of the ladies, we know y'all have lives. Y'all got things to do. But Lisa, can you just tell us, like, how can folks get in touch with you? Anything you want to leave us with tonight?
Well, you can please. I saw my channel has been dropped several times. Please subscribe to me at Lisa J Stocks here on YouTube. And on my YouTube channel, there is a link tree, and there you can find my email address, my Instagram, and anything else. Any other places that you would want to find me will be there.
All right. Thank you. That's Lisa J Stocks. Y'all go please check her out, like, subscribe, and share her channel. And my sister C Temp, anything you want to leave us with?
Thank you so much, Sandra, just for creating this community of people who are willing to share their knowledge. It's a very safe place, and I feel like we can really change our lives. So if you're out there, dream big, take it into your own hands, learn, take the time to educate yourself, take advantage of all of our different courses or Discord. If you want to see if trading is for you, join my Discord. It's free. We get on there every Tuesday around 10 Eastern. So to see if you like it, you may not like it, but if you do, then you can grow from there. So there's someone out there doing exactly what you wanted. I wanted to be at home while I was traveling the world, and I found the community of people who are doing that. So we're here, we're out here. So the Trading Niji on YouTube, and then also the Discord is in the chat.
I love that, C-Temp, because a lot of folks like myself invested a whole heap of money into classes. And, it can take some time before you see the payoff for that investment, particularly with trading. And so to be able to go into your Discord, which is free, to be able to catch your YouTube content, which is all free, to see if this might be something that you really want to invest in, is such a benefit to us. So thank you, my sister. And I'm telling y'all, her classes are good. I wouldn't say it. I could just sit here and be like, good night, y'all. Be safe in the parking lot. But I'm telling you, the girl is a gifted teacher. And I taught for 30 years. I don't toss that out lightly. I'm telling you, that's what it is. So check her out. And Dr. Roche, take us home.
Yes, Sandra, you can go ahead and be like a good commercial. I feel like you just so good at like pumping us up. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm gonna put you on the camera and put it on a Facebook ad or something, because you are awesome. Yeah, I would say, like everyone else has said already, just get started. Ultimately, get started knowing that this is available to you. It's not just available to somebody else, it's available to you. So find yourself worthy enough and deserving enough to change your life. Like, it only takes like a little mini shifts in order for you to actually like make some like really like major things happening inside your life. So you want to go ahead and make those like shifts. Work with us by looking at whatever we have available. But I imagine you would just be so phenomenal in life if you had all of us, all four of us was teaching you something. I'm trying to get in the game. I'm like gonna get taught from Lisa J. Sandra, you go teach me some stuff, and Kanesia. Like, let's go. I don't even know what credit spreads are. I want my money to be in all kind of buckets, growing. So everything should be available. Like, why not? If it's here, well, go ahead and make money in every way that's available for you to make some money. And we're here teaching you. We're people who look like you, trying to teach you something. So why not go ahead and like, use us and share it with other people?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll wrap it up because you all know for this year, I have been on a mission to get 1,000 Black women involved in the stock market. And it is really a labor of love. I want to make sure that we are financially literate. We are educators. Most of us on this panel are just natural teachers. And so we want to arm you with the knowledge. We want to empower you. We want you to be confident. And we want you to know that it is for you. It's not for somebody else. Though that day is dead. It's over, sis. It's for us. Wealth is for us. Prosperity is for us. Health, all of that stuff, all those good and positive things, creating the life of your dream is for us. It's not for somebody else. And it all starts with a mindset shift for many of us. Now, some of y'all might already be there. I don't know. But for me, it started with a whole mindset shift from shifting out of that toxic job I was in, which was bogging me down, trading my time for dollars, into, wait a minute, I got $5 over here. I want them $5 to be the most tired $5 y'all ever saw, because I'm gonna work them $5. And it doesn't take a lot to get started. We can absolutely make our money work for us. So if you are free on Wednesdays, we meet for 2 hours every Wednesday. Almost every Wednesday, but consistently on Wednesdays. And we talk about everything from investing to trading, technical, all of it. We try to touch on all of it From Lack to Legacy. So if you need to schedule a one-on-one, we want you in our community because we want to connect you with women like this so that you too can enjoy a prosperous life. So on that note, I'm going to let my sisters go to bed. I just want to thank you all. I promise you, it's like this is the fun part for me. All of it I enjoy. I enjoy the teaching part, but I really do enjoy when we can get together and showcase and show that people need to see. I think representation is everything. And so when we can see sisters living the lives of their dreams, I think it's so impactful. I know that's how I got started. Stephanie Perry, y'all know I bow down. All of those ladies over there, they just opened up a whole new world for me. And I'm hoping that we can add to that as, not just leaving toxic spaces, but now that you're out, how do you finance that life? How do you finance the life of your dreams? And I hope you found something useful here tonight. We will do it again next month. We'll see you back here on Money After Dark at From Lack to Legacy. All right, ladies, that's all we have for tonight. Thank you all. Check everybody out. Like, subscribe, and share. And we will see you all next month. Take care, folks. Bye, everybody.